Welcome to the virtual Dover, Delaware, and to Pit Stop TV. This is going to be an abnormal way to get things started. We're a little behind. Technology playing fits with us this morning, but we're about to get rolling here at the Dover Motor Speedway. We won't have a grid for you this morning, but we do have cars on the racetrack about to go green, and we will have cars on screen. There they are. Give me just a moment. Graphics have fired up finally, and we are about to have a normal broadcast from here. My name is Andrew Cardinale the Fourth. Zach Murtis with me today. It's just one of those kinds of mornings, but we will get the music turned down here, and we will get the engines turned up, and we will go racing, and graphics will be going by lap number 2. Out of turn number 4, Jordan White leads us to the green, and we are racing at Dover, maybe not for long. And certainly Zach Murtis, not for long this morning. Well, that gives us a chance, I suppose, to get to some other graphics, but yeah, that start did not go well.
Quick caution here to start this race off. Not really something you wanted to see on lap number 1, but hey, sometimes it's just how the race goes. So Jordan White's going to bring us back around. The caution flag is going to be out.
And we'll take a look back as to exactly what happened there to get this caution caused. I do believe I'm pretty sure what it was, but we'll take a look anyhow as Christopher Foote and a couple of others are already wadded up. There's number 21. My goodness, he has got a whole right side out of order on that machine.
Front just looks killed.
So there are the graphics for you as well, firing up for us. Let's take a look back. This was the run onto the front straightaway. There's the restart zone and green flag, and it was second and third place and some other position getting loose on the throttle. And unfortunately, we saw it, oh gosh, was it 2016, Zach, here at Dover? The really big crash with Jimmy Johnson and everybody else in the race. There was a really big crash on a restart here at Dover a few years back. I say a few, probably like 10 years ago now, but man, that's what this reminds me of.
I'm right there with you. It just gets loose on the restart, spins the tires. It's a very common thing here at Dover, spinning these tires. You have to be super, super careful, especially on the banking when having these restarts. It can be so easy to lose the car underneath you, and you know, it's really just what we saw here. Look at the second place car, just automatically turns right. You see the 21 of Lloyd Moore turning right as well. They refer to Dover, as well as a lot of other tracks on the schedule, as a self-cleaning racetrack, because once you start spinning, the banking wants to take you down. But if you're on the power and you're moving, it's kind of spinning you up, and it takes you just straight to the wall.
Yeah, this is a tricky racetrack, obviously, once you do crash, or once somebody in front of you crashes. You never really know where to go until it's already happened, and you're either in it or past it. And that certainly was the case there for these drivers. Again, a couple of guys getting loose on cold tires, and they're going to learn, that's for sure. Maybe go up a gear for the restart here. It's always been tricky to restart at Dover. It doesn't matter what car, what version of Dover, it's always tricky to restart with the high banks. But let's go through some of the graphics we typically go through in pre-race, one of those mornings for us. But we do have Dover Motor Speedway. There's the track map. It is about as oval as racing ovals can get, Zach. It is straight up, I think, symmetrical, very close to, if not, 1 mile in length, 1.6 kilometers, and has been on the NASCAR schedule for a long time, since 1969. So these guys have been racing here for a very long time. We'll check in with points here in just a few, as drivers are about to lead us back to the green flag. Jordan White will lead us to the green here in car number 83, racing for Whiplash Racing. Chris Romano to the inside in car 44. Row 2 will be Matthew McMeekin and Gregory Vad Nice. Here we go. Back around to the restart zone. Let's try to get this one restarted proper. Lap 4 on to lap 5. Jordan White in control, and The green flag is back out at Dover. Here we go. A much better start this time around. Jordan White leads us back around to the stripe, and we are very spread out. A couple of cars knocking the wall down there off of turn 4.
Starting to get a little bit more single file is what we really wanted to see. As Jordan White continues to lead down the back straightaway into 3 and 4, the top 3 breaking away from the rest of the field.
There you see the number 83 with Whiplash Simcams on the hood leading. Romano, though, in second, did go fastest. That's the Sim Magic number 44. And Van Nuys is kind of, I don't know, he's offset down to the inside a lot here, Zach. I don't know if he's trying to get a look to the inside, but that's going to hurt his tires and his runs, as here's Romano to the inside for the race lead.
Jumping down there to the inside, he's going to have a really big advantage in 1 and 2. The outside line on corner exit's really good at being defensive here, but it narrows up on corner exit, so it makes it very, very difficult to hold that track position, hold that line. Jordan White doing a good job, and now Romano to the race lead off of turn 4, and White's going to get tight. There's the dirty air taking a big effect on that 83 car. And he is going to tap that wall and now be on defense for second place again, but he's going to get cleared very quickly, falls down to third.
One car on the inside, that is going to be Michael Rovillo. He's in trouble big time. He's been in the wall very hard, and he is slow on the inside. I would say he is going to spend some time in the pit lane, unfortunately. He's not the only one who's had trouble here getting going. Of course, here you see as well a driver that was involved in the lap 1 mayhem there at the start. Justin Young in the number 20. Also, Matt Opplinger has had trouble in the number 82. And of course, we saw Christopher Foote involved in that lap 1 issue. There he is now 2 laps down, pitting as well. Ricky Langton Jr. seems to have never taken the green flag, or if he did, he wasn't out there for long, as he is back in the proverbial garage. Chris Romano's taken over here, as we saw, passing the 83 of Jordan White. Van Nuys now in second, Jordan White in third. Matthew McMeekin in the 4th spot, Sean Hughes in 5th. And through the rest of your top 10, it's Zach King, Kevin Bullock, Chris Perry, Chris Fainer, and Billy Jordan. Your top 10 positions. Zach King here in the 51, losing a spot to the 01 of Kevin Bullock. He's going to cross him up, though. Turn 3, here we go.
Trying to find his way back up into the 6th spot. King is going to slot in line. He gets a really good run off of turn number 4. Looks like he's going to try to take that look. Doesn't quite get there. We got one car way up the racetrack, about 3 cars in front of them.
That's the 82.
Now there's going...
It is. It's the 82. That'd be Opplinger as King gets into the 01 of Bullock. Watch out. This could get tight.
Hinges him. Oh, in the wall.
Crowds King back down the racetrack, but Zach King will get back ahead. So that's a pass, of course, good for the 6th position. White starting to look around over 24 of Van Nuys. This is the battle for second. Here they go off into turn number 3. And what we have not yet hit, Zach, is our Whiplash Simcams race details. This is a 200-lap race, just straight up go green flag, figure out who can get to the checkered flag first. Ford changed sets of tires out there. Of course, these guys have not taken one yet, at least I would hope. 55% fuel, that will be limiting. That will be the most limiting factor, I think, for these guys in pit stops and everything today, especially if we do get some green flag running. Cautions, of course, will count. 3 green-white checkers if needed. Fixed setups and no fast fix.
They create an interesting dynamic, I'll say, especially with the 55% fuel load, because right now, a fuel run looks to be around 51 to 55 laps. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it throws a hindrance into strategy. You could take tires with each green flag stop if you wanted to. Lap 50, If you wanted to short it, you could do lap 50, lap 100, lap 50 again, and then run it out to the end and still have a set of tires left over. So there is some strategy that can be thrown into play here, but these guys should be able to have enough change sets to take one with at least every single stop with what should be a 3-stop race.
Battle for the 6th position. Zach King has moved on to 5th. This is going to be a battle between Kevin Bullock and Sean Hughes here inside the top 10. And the pass has already been made by Sean Hughes in 75. The 0-1, I think, starting to check up with some tire degradation as he's starting to fall through the field. Here's a battle further back now. Chris Perry, Cameron Combs, and Billy Jordan. Jordan, the final car in the top 10. There's a big gap back to Elijah Mopin in the 66 car, but that'll be the next car on your list. And then look at all these cars kind of in line from there, Zach, from 11th down through about 24th, all about 1 to 1.5 seconds apart at most.
Yeah, you're starting to see a pretty big spread amongst these guys. This right here is the 23 of Fauner.
These guys are all stacked together. Here goes Hissong to the inside of the 29. That'll be a pass complete by the Ford Mustang. Meanwhile, Michael Alley getting passed up by the 00 of Lloyd Moore. And now Hissong to the inside of Corey Powell. This is for the 12th position. Pass made.
That's a 2-for-1 special within the span of a lap for the 29 of Hissong. He's going to move on up and get into some more clean air. We got still a side-by-side fight behind these guys. Wrapping around that top side.
Pass complete by Lloyd Moore into 14th. Of course, he was one of those cars that got loose there on the start of the race and hit the wall and kind of caused that big crash. Glad that he's starting to recover here. He's up to 14th, looking for 13th now on Corey Powell into turn number 3. And pass will be complete once again.
Surprised to see he's rolling so well, and you can still see a little bit of right front damage on that race car.
Oh, no!
Spinner!
Massive accident, or at least massive hit for Chris Fainer in the 23. He's done. At least competitively, that car is not going to drive the way it did before.
Well, surprisingly, from race control, we're not seeing a meatball flag for that 23 car.
He hit really hard.
Meatball flag for the 45, but that's about it.
Mark Helsell. I don't think Mark was involved, but I could be wrong.
Different incident might be.
Oh, wow. He just got turned.
That's what we talked about, Andrew. These exits, they narrow up. It's hard to be able to keep that car rolling straight when you've got someone down on your inside, and when the exit narrows up, they just come right up the racetrack.
Here's Case and Hodgson. Just got up into the 23 car, and yeah, I don't want to say he flat out dumped him, Zach, but he flat out dumped him. It wasn't intentional or anything, but he flat out dumped him.
He might have just thought that he was going to be clear on corner exit.
Possibly. I do want to check on the 45 car. I saw some parts and pieces laying on the racetrack on the front stretch. This is Helsell. Yeah, so that's where the parts and pieces came from. You see the fender that came off that race car. So that's why he had the meatball flag you were talking about. This was before the spin for car 23. And
he was running further up, wasn't he?
Not entirely sure, actually. Regardless, it's a big hit, and a bunch of cars do stay out, but a bunch more do pit. Jordan White first off the pit lane. He seems to have taken fuel only. The first of the drivers on tires will be Chris Romano. It seems Jordan White and Zach King opted for no tires in their pit stops, and the top four stayed out. It's early, so it is tough to warrant tires this early, but I don't know. I never have liked pitting at Dover and not taking tires, but I know sometimes you have to. It's part of the game, but we'll see how it works out.
Well, Dover realistically is a cheese grater for tires. This concrete surface tends to be very abrasive, as they look like they're going to get doubled up here for the restart. Lights are off on the pace car. I still like the call. I think you don't take tires now. You can run out another run, take tires at the end of the run, or just take tires past lap 50 if there's another caution. Because I would very much rather save those tires. Keep yourself in a good position, especially if there is green light checkered.
And so the field will work down the back straightaway, lap 26 of 200. Now, we covered Daytona about 3 weeks ago now. That was the opening race of the season. Here's a look at the schedule. We are about to go back green flag. We'll take a brief look here. Atlanta was last week. That was on Pirate Broadcasting by Art Mill. I actually don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Art did a great job. Here we are back at Dover. We'll talk more about that later, but we will not be live with the series next week. We'll come back in for Las Vegas a little bit later on. As here we go. Restart zone coming up. And McMeekin takes us back green.
Oh, spinning!
Again. The 77 seems to be one of them. Oh my gosh, it's a parking lot once again. Casey Gross, Kevin Bullock. It looks like the 66 of Open, the 24 of Van Nice, the 5 of Hodgdon. Same as lap 1 coming to the green. Oh my goodness, how did that just happen?
Rolling. Sean Hughes with the black flag, Chad Fox with the black flag. Must be from how things unfolded with them passing on the restart, but I'm sure race control will absolutely take care of those black flags. Here's a look at it.
Thinking this might have started at the 24 car of Van Nice. I could be wrong, but he was involved and he was ahead of a few others. So let's see here. This is the run into the restart zone. And Van Nice ends up getting, yes, turned around. Oh, boy.
I think the stack up just got to them a little bit, and when they went to get back in the throttle, they ended up spinning the tires.
Here's the overhead view. They check up on the bottom, and when they get back in the gas, Van Nice and Gross both just spin simultaneously, and oh, man. Kind of along for the ride. When you hit the gas and the car kicks out sideways like that, there's no saving it. It has already decided that it's going to spin out, but that's what I was talking about earlier, maybe restarting a gear higher and not allowing that to really be a possibility in the first place. That's tough. And Doug Scalis back here, he's just wondering what the heck is going on ahead of him as the race gets restarted here. Let's see his onboard. He's way back here waiting on some cars to go by him, it looks like, and then all of this happens out of him.
You just check up, slow roll through it. Actually, he just came to a stop.
I'm going to be honest with you, Zach. How long did we just sit there silent? How long?
You can't hear me.
Yeah, how long were we silent right here?
I have no clue, honestly.
After the crash. Because, watch this. The crash is happening, caution's back out. Chris Perry's in turn 2. Wait for it.
Still waiting. And here he is. Oh!
I'm sorry, but that can't be happening.
Ah, it's Arca Brake Central right there.
That is a little bit too late. I'm not really sure, Zach. I don't have one for that one, but might need to get the coffee going, brewing a little bit earlier there in the 34 house. That was...
I don't drink coffee.
Well, thankfully, Zach, you were not the guy who ran into Doug there about 30 seconds after the crash happened. Yeah, no, that... I think maybe Chris Perry had something else going on the monitor and was focused on that as he came to get the green flag. But here we go. 30 laps down, and we've got 170 to go. A long ways still to go this morning at Dover, Delaware. Green flag back in the air. Big restart for McMeekin and for King. Green flag. Meatball Motorsports with all three of their cars out front. McMeekin, King, Powell leading as everybody settles back in. McMeekin did not pit at all. King did take fuel.
They're still on the same set of tires, so we'll have to wait and see how it goes. The thing that's going on at the moment right now was Zach King had a black flag for passing under yellow. Looks like race control has cleared that, so you got one car way down on the front straightaway.
Corey Powell,
right
maybe?
in front of Jordan White.
May have been Powell. He fell back from third to fifth as White races off of turn number 2 with Austin Adams and Chris Romano. Romano got very free there off of turn 2 and nearly got the right rear of Jordan White's car.
Down to 1. Look at Jordan White. He's looking to the inside of Powell. This is for the 4th spot, tight off of 2. White gets clear. He might bring Romano with him. Bring a whole slew of cars with him. Everyone down to the inside. Oh, that was so close right there for Powell. Almost got tipped around on the left rear. Now he's going to get a little shoved down the straightaway. Let's Adams go. And it's stacking everybody up behind him. We're getting real racy on the back half of the top 10.
Even back in the rest of the field as well. These guys are racing really hard back here. In addition to these guys around the back end of the top 10, there's a lot of great racing. Powell, though, hit by Combs. Combs down the racetrack. Powell at the racetrack. Big crash. Maybe. No, not a big crash, but a big hit for Powell. He's in the wall hard, and I think he's going to be headed to the pit lane here in a moment.
I think he's going to be angry here.
12 on the inside, that's Chad Fox. The 25 of Justin Lanier, and many more going past the 92 car as he tries to regather himself. The leaders have calmed down a bit. McMeekin with the race lead over Zach King and Adam Ramsey. Everybody's spread out by a couple of tenths at the very least. While these guys do some racing here, I want to take a look, though, Zach, at the standings. And, oh, man, these drones keep going through our grandstands in turns 1 and 2. But here we go. Look at the standings. Mike Alley, your points leader. Justin Young was able to win at Atlanta a week ago. They, of course, are the two leaders now of the standings. Clifford Allison in 3rd, Sean Hughes 4th, and Zach King and Lloyd Moore tied for 5th. The top 10 will be granted entry to the chase this season, the playoffs, if you will. There is a provision for 2 wild cards to be added, so think old school chase format here. 10 into the chase automatically on points, 1 more based on most wins, I think 1 more based on most starts, I believe is the way Doug Scalise put it to me last night. So there will be 12 cars, but the cutoff for points is going to be 10th place. So Hisson currently in that spot, but obviously, Zach, there's so long to go between now and that cutoff race later on in the season. That cutoff race, of course, will be Daytona in August, and the chase will begin at Darlington in September. "40 laps complete." Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think they've got a really solid schedule put together, and I like Dover. I like Dover in this next-gen car. Oh, got one car slow off the pace. Oh, whoa, that is That is his song, and that is a left front disconnected.
A lot of damage for the number 29 car.
Is that in turn 2, or is he rolling on to turn 3 and 4?
That was in 1 and 2. This is back a little bit.
So
I've
he's
gone
got
back
to
a
roll all
little
the way
too
around.
far, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. And this is off of turn 4. There was something that happened just before this, but
Oh!
that's what ends up being relatively terminal to Robert.
And that's what we saw happen to Mark Hissel in that 45 car. Literally, bar for bar.
He was racing with this 25 of Justin Lanier just prior to this, and they had a moment. And so this will be a look at that for these two drivers. I believe maybe next time around. I'm trying to dial in the exact moment that it happened, so bear with me. I believe it's going to be this time off of turn number 2. So watch the 25 on the outside. This song gets loose. It might have been here in 3. Might have been the next lap around. I saw the 25 sideways in one of the little replay previews, or
It just goes.
maybe I was a little misconstrued. Regardless, there's a replay of the incident for his song. It seems he is going to be done for the day. As there's a battle for second, Jordan White has caught Zach King, and it is a battle now for position number 2. Ford versus Toyota.
Former teammates in a different series that we broadcast here on Pit Stop TV, the BRB Sundance Pro Series. They were teammates for a little while, and now Jordan White's moved over to Spirit Racing to hang out with that group, and now they are fighting for second position here on the racetrack. King is defending, Jordan White is attacking and trying to find a way around that 51 car.
Chris Romano right behind is keeping Jordan and Zach pretty honest, and you know, Romano's got new tires. I'm surprised he's not farther ahead of these guys.
Honestly, yeah, it is kind of surprising, but I mean, 25 lap difference on tires here. As long as you've got the clean air, it shouldn't make too big of a difference. So I think we're still in a decent window with how these guys are on tires. It's about time for these guys to be changing tires, though, as Jordan White takes a look down to the inside. He is going to pass up Zach King, running right up the racetrack, gets tight on the bottom, and gets clear for the second position. King now falls to the third spot, right on the bumper of that 83 car. It's right there on him off of turn 4, ends up losing a lot of ground, and that might cost him in his momentum, as now side by side for third. Romano's going to take that look down to the inside, and he's going to take over that third spot from the 51.
As Romano goes on by, Zach King now in 4th. Will lift early there for turn number 3. And Jordan White's going for the race lead. Caution.
Caution on the racetrack. Wrecking on the front straightaway down over in turn number 1. You can see just a few cars seemingly exiting the pit lane.
One of them is Perry, that car that we saw as the latest of the late breakers earlier. We just hit quarter distance in this race, lap 50 complete. Here is Perry down the front stretch, got the wall, then gets tagged by Elijah Mopin, and oh my goodness, that is a big hit for each of those drivers right there, man. Doug Scalise in the pit lane, unfortunate timing for him.
It's like that 34 just kicked around, hits, and then boom. Once the front end taps the wall, it sends the 66 into the wall. And yeah, you said Doug Scalise coming out of the pit lane.
It didn't really even seem like Elijah hit him that hard, but Elijah was blinking beforehand and after. Here's the moment there. I think there was some netcode involved. I do think they may have still crashed anyways, but there was definitely some netcode involved in that incident between the 34 and 66, and the 16 just trying to exit the pit lane on the inside there as pit stops are going to kick back off. McMeekin has stayed out. Never mind. I selected the driver that was in first, That was at the time McMeekin. Regardless, here we go. Pit stops. McMeekin is in the pit lane, I promise. Jordan White trying to get down and away quicker, but he will just get the 4-car at pit exit there.
The advantages of pit box number 1.
Yes, we couldn't get the grid for you this morning, unfortunately, but Jordan White did lead us to the green flag back on lap number 1. He qualified on pole. So he does have that advantage now of the first pit box and the shortest race off the pit lane, which certainly is a big deal here at Dover Motor Speedway. I want to give a big thank you. We couldn't run this set of graphics earlier because of time, but here is a look through our typical slates to get the broadcast started. A big thank you this morning to Happy Pet HQ for jumping on board for this third race of the series, sponsoring today's event at Dover Motor Speedway, the Happy Pet HQ 200. Of course, this broadcast also brought to you by Bully Dog Coffee Company and Whiplash Simcams. As we have got just under 75% of the race to go, and it is Greg Van Nice now out front in control for this restart. That's Mark Bender on his outside. Chris Romano. Actually, Chris Romano was the first off the pit lane. Zach, I just noticed this. He took no tires, fuel only. So he will line up third as the first car technically out of the pit lane. But the first car on tires certainly is Jordan White in that number 83.
This is probably going to end up turning into a wild and wacky restart. Pace car's in. Here we go.
Green flag on the way. It'll be Gregory Van Nice leading us back into the restart zone. Here we go, off a turn, number 4. Green flag back in the air. Oh, Van Nice, header to the outside wall. And another one getting loose, and there goes the 51 of King, the 83 of White. My goodness. That's most of the field. That is most of the field.
The name of the game on these restarts. Doesn't look like anyone has any super major damage, so...
Man.
Oh, man, that's a big hit.
That took out a lot of really good cars. That guy is staying out on old tires and hitting the gas way too hard on the restart. That's unfortunate. That... the 24 of Ed Nice. He goes first. And this isn't necessarily even a classic, like, spun the tires thing. Let's listen on board, actually, with the 24 car. Let's listen here. So he's in second gear. It's bumps. It's bumps. These guys are running over bumps. And the car is just getting completely unsettled. But man, you've got to take the... I mean, I don't want to be so critical, Zach, but there's guys that are restarting fine, and then there's guys that aren't. You've got to be more careful. And the 24 and 33 both here just couldn't control it on the restart. And I mean, the 51 and 83 were really good cars. The 97 as well, the 75, and I mean, for King and White especially, they kind of bear the greatest brunt of this. And I think each of them could have won this race, and each of them likely now out of it, competitively at least. Not at all their own doing, just riding, trying to get back to the restart. We're much faster than each of the cars ahead, and what do you see? I mean, the first couple of times I get a lot more than time number 3. You know, there is a saying, Zach. trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And there's more nuance to it than that, but I don't know. I think you've got to take note of guys having issues on restarts and adjust the way you restart. I know it's going to still catch a guy or two off guard, but easier on the throttle here, guys, and I think we can still have a decent race out of this one. See a couple of cars in the pit lane. There are a handful, actually. Mark Bender, it seems, is back on the racetrack, but Casey Gross is coming around the field. Vad Nice is parked. There's Powell in the pit lane. Chad Fox just rolled by in the number 12. Chris Fainer is down here in the 23. He's 3 laps down. Doug Scalise is down here, 6 laps down. Elijah Mopin is 7 laps down. Chris Perry is 7 laps down. Matt Opplinger is back on the racetrack, but 13 laps down. Michael Rovillo, same story, but he is 19 laps down. And Mark Helsel is still in the pit lane, some 34 laps down. And there's a couple of cars scattered in there that are already out of the race. So these guys have definitely met their match, I think, here at Dover Motor Speedway. Already catching a lot of drivers off guard on these restarts. Let's hope everybody here is very nice on the throttle, very easy in their application. As here we go, back green, it's Chris Romano and Matthew McMeekin on the front row. Green flag in the air. Let's try it again. I do love the somewhat cyclic cars driving by the static cameras around the racetrack. It just, there's a rhythm to it as everybody goes flying by the speed shot there on the front straightaway that time. 58 laps in the books. Battle for about the 4th spot, maybe. As Sean Hughes is in that 4th position over Billy Jordan and Kevin Bullock. Good to see Kevin back up towards the front here, of course, after the issues he had earlier in this race. Driver 01 is here in 6th. And Zach, one thing I will say is, in my limited amount of laps that I did in this car testing for this event myself, I actually found that I liked the top side of the racetrack more than the bottom.
Middle of the top line definitely has, big impact right there for Bullock. Going to keep on rolling, but that's definitely going to be some right front damage on that 01 car. But the top side definitely has some really good rotation. I think you can really carry some good momentum out there, especially right around this lane right here that we're riding on board with. I think that lane specifically, that middle lane, it works really, really well in terms of helping the tires, helping get the car rotated is up the racetrack. That was really, really interesting, actually, to see right there.
You know, Ramsey, I think, got out of sorts into the corner. Bullock got really deep into the corner as well. Ramsey's headed backwards in a hurry as Hughes, Jordan, and Bullock all passed on that lap. Ramsey, though, fights back on the inside now as Austin Adams and Michael Alley are side by side behind them. This is for 7th.
Easily gets back clear. Here comes Jordan White after getting involved in that incident on the last restart. He's working to move himself back up inside the top 10. A little side-by-side action behind him as well. Someone just bounced off the wall.
You know what? I will give them a bit of credit here, Zach. The Dover race for these vehicles is in May. And it's going to be the NASCAR All-Star Race. So there is a new package for these cars on this kind of racetrack, and it takes the rear diffuser away. And I wonder if maybe the setup isn't quite ready for that. Because, I mean, they are all over the place. I know this car is also just a handful here, but I wonder if maybe the setup has not yet been adjusted to match the car specifications, the aerodynamic package here for the next-gen vehicle at this racetrack for 2026 as White gets into Bullock there.
One car slowed down the back straightaway as well. slow rolling on the inside line. You know that there was a call out about one car slow on the backstretch due to some damage, but we stay green, we stay rolling on board with Justin Lanier.
Oh, that's one thing you don't want to do.
Chase down. Oh, yeah. Touch that apron. That's a death sentence right there.
Very lucky for Lanier to have not gotten loose there on either transition onto or off of the apron. That's one piece of racetrack you do not want to touch, especially in this race car, but certainly in any race car here at Dover Motor Speedway. Much better run there through turn number 2 for Lanier, and he completes the pass on Austin Adams. Adam Ramsey now pulls up. Matt Opplinger there on the inside. Opplinger's a lap car, but he's got his tires on and his car mostly repaired. He fires on through. There's a somewhat battle for the race lead. That's the 4 of McMeekin and the 44 of Romano. You know, we've covered McMeekin before, years ago here on iRacing, back in the NASCAR Monday Night Thunder Series, otherwise known as NMNTS. McMeekin did run over there for a little bit. I'm talking like 2018, Zach. That's how long ago I'm talking about here with the 4 car, but good to see McMeekin still on the sim and doing well for himself, clearly leading a whole bunch of laps to get this race started. We've got 69 complete. He's led 38 of them. As we complete 70 now, make it 39 laps led for car number 4 for Meatball Motorsports. It will be Chris Romano in second, Sean Hughes in third, with Billy Jordan just behind, Michael Alley in fifth, and we saw Jordan White come on through moments ago, Zach. He is in the first position, 1 lap down. That puts him 11th right now on the racetrack.
So if the next caution does come out, that's going to give Jordan White the free pass as more drivers are dropping off the lead lap. Top 10 are the only ones in the lead lap. Last one was Zach King, actually, and now he's gone 2 laps down. He is now in the pit lane trying to get that damage fixed, and I mean, I don't blame him. That car still looks quite a bit of a mess at the moment. There you see Young. He's been in the box for almost a full 2 minutes. That's like 5 minutes right there.
That's more than that.
60,
yeah,
60,
that's
120, 180.
Coming up on 6 minutes here shortly.
240.
Or possibly, no, we're past 6 minutes. We're past
360. 420.
9 minutes? We're coming up on 10. Yeah, we're coming up on 10 minutes.
480.
10 times 60, 600, Zach.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming up on 10 minutes right here. We'll stick with him until it hits 10 minutes, then we'll go back to live picture. As Chris Fainer has been in the pit lane. Oh, and I guess he got camera shy. He has parked it and pulled out of the racetrack. Chris Etchapar was even in there correcting us 10 minutes before we knew it. But regardless, a rough day for a lot of these guys. Again, I do wonder if the setup... Oh, my goodness, Rovillo and the 2, Romano. Oh, Zach, I know what our first mega miss is going to be.
If they didn't make contact.
Oh, I think we can count that. that was going to be... See you later out of the race, just about as quick as Chris Fainer. This is... Oh, that's scary.
Oh, that is close. You know what? I think that is a good nomination for Murders Esports Murders Mega Miss.
Let's see here. This is going to be a scary moment for the 44 car, and oh my gosh. He did get a bit of damage out of it, but to still be racing, I think he'll take it.
I say take the 4X and move on.
Yeah, you never want the 4X, never want that damage in the front of the car, but I think being crashed and out is certainly worse than continuing on with a bit of bumper damage on your race car. Really, the only battle in top 10 right now as Romano deals with his damage is going to be now for third position. Billy Jordan on the back end of Sean Hughes. The 83 is now between them, so the battle has faded, but this is the closest battle on the racetrack currently as these two are kind of taking other lines around the racetrack. Zach, we talked about it a few laps ago. I like the top lane around the racetrack, not right against the wall, but, you know, kind of diamonding towards the top. And these guys are starting to find it up there.
But they are, especially with the sun setting and going behind the clouds.
Yeah, I don't know if it's setting, technically. Weather conditions here. And we can see the sim date and time. It is 4:17 on February 22nd, so it could be a little bit lower, actually. I don't think setting, though. Yeah, I think they probably have an hour of sunlight left, maybe an hour and a half. Regardless, ambient temp, 65 degrees in the air, 73 on track, mostly cloudy skies. And if we look here at the scenic shots around the racetrack, yeah, there's definitely still... oh yeah, 90 minutes or so of sunlight here, but sun behind the clouds, it's going to cool things back off a bit, and there's some sunlight way back in the distance.
Well, they continue to roll on then. We're approaching halfway here shortly.
There was a pass right there for 7th. Kevin Bullock has just gone by Adam Ramsey. Ramsey not done, though. Fires back on the inside.
Ooh, gets tight. Single file off of turn 4.
Oh,
no!
no.
Wall.
No caution.
Surprising.
Bullock is turned around down here on the inside wall.
He's not turned around, but he stopped.
He's slow on the racetrack. How did iRacing not call a caution for that?
Your guess is as good as mine.
That is perplexing, to say the least. Here's the run off the corner. Bullock in the wall. Ramsey nowhere to go. I mean, that's turned around. That is certainly turned around. One more look at it. Grabs the outside wall. These are our pit lane cameras down here. Wow, up close and personal.
It's a hefty impact for the 0-1. I'm sure he's going to be a couple laps down at this point now, potentially going further backwards.
He's just gone one lap down and been passed by Jordan White. There he is at the start-finish line. About 20 cars still rolling here at Dover. We had 30 starts, so already attrition a major factor in this race. McMeekin, though, at the race lead, he's been out front for a while, and he's been on this set of tires and fuel now for about 35 laps. He did take tires last time he pitted. So, Zach, based on your count, he's got about, what, 15 laps to go in this stint?
15 to 20. Just realistically speaking on the fuel strategy, the number that I had was about 51, 52. So I'm giving about a 3 to 4 lap leeway on it, just because the fuel number tends to change as the race goes on. I would say that 55 would be a good number to keep in mind, but I feel like these guys could be able to save till about 56, 57 laps if they're really, really saving.
The gap for first has grown now to about 2 seconds as McMeekin continues to work through some lap traffic. It's always scary at Dover. Lap traffic is never ideal at this racetrack. I haven't raced at Dover in a long time, I will say. But the times that I did race at Dover, Zach, I was typically the lap traffic.
I've been there. I've been there a couple of times. I haven't stepped foot on Dover in quite a while though, but it's a fun racetrack. I like the aspects it has, and I like the challenges that it gives.
I will say, working on material for this broadcast last night, laps around the racetrack, recording B-roll and such, I don't know why Dover isn't used more. It is a really cool racetrack, very challenging, very difficult, The banking kind of makes it that way, but flatten this place out and you get Milwaukee, bank it up like it is, and it's Dover. And it's, I think, no offense to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Mile, but I think Dover is a lot more fun lap per lap than the Milwaukee Mile. But I'm sure to each their own.
I mean, I've never been a fan of Milwaukee.
The 83 here of Jordan White is about to unlap himself. There goes Austin Adams. He's in ninth. He just got lapped. White is about to pass the race leader and put himself back on the lead lap. Imagine, Zach, if he wasn't a lap down.
It'd be huge for him, especially since they're catching cars to go further laps down. So Jordan White has moved himself into the free pass position. But if he unlaps himself right here, should the caution come out, he wouldn't have to go and start behind these lap down cars. He will be on the lead lap. Jordan White. And should he be on the lead lap now, that would be a pass for the race lead. So we'll have to wait and see how that all shakes up and ships out as we keep on rolling here at Dover, closing in on halfway. As Jordan White continues to pick off cars. And, even though he was a lap down, Andrew, I'd say he'd be the car to beat right now should he get back into the swing of things and we get squared up with these leaders, maybe on another restart.
Get Jordan a caution, get him squared back away, and he's going to pass some cars. As Cameron Combs on the outside, that's a pass for 8th for the 83. Combs about to go a lap down. You can see just how challenging this racetrack is for these guys here today. Vic Meekin just continuing to sail through the field. I don't know, though,
8 cars
frankly, if this did go green, and this is a big hypothetical, but if this did go green the next 103 laps, do you think Jordan can run Matthew down?
I thought about it for a moment, so it's funny that you bring it up. I thought about just how much he would have to do to run him down, and that'd be similar to something that Bill Elliott did, what was it, 40, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And he did it at Talladega, of all things. He was 2 laps down, and he tracked them all down, and he ended up winning the race.
Well, in the name of good nicknames, I suppose, you, of course, had the awesome Bill from Dawsonville and Jordan White, the Jamaican sensation. The Jordan Train, either one. I think those are pretty good. So if you need a guy with a good nickname to do it, Jordan White, I think, might be your guy. I don't know how many more of these guys in the field are even going to have a nickname like that, Zach, but we know Jordan from over in the BRB Sundance Pro Series, as you mentioned earlier, and Jordan is known over there as the Jamaican sensation, and the Jordan Train usually has a big fan club, as there's the caution to get him back in the race. So it's Sean Hughes, the 75, outside wall. He's not alone. It looks like Rovilla with him, maybe. Watch out. Actually, not the 2 car of Rovillo.
He was involved.
Not sure who it was smoking there on the inside of the racetrack. Oh my goodness. I saw a brief clip of it. So there's Rovillo in the 2 on the outside of Hughes getting past. Chris Perry in the wall ahead. Oh my goodness. Wow. It was Rovillo smoking down there on the inside. I just caught the very moment that he towed. Oh man, that was close for Opplinger.
We've got more and more cars dropping out of this race, Andrew. Just dropping like flies. Bullock is out of the race. Cameron Combs is out of the race. Michael Rovella is out of the race.
Yeah,
Elijah Maupin is out of the race as well. He has just pulled himself out.
I think you just need to be more careful in Chris Perry's position here. He's already had a couple of big moments today. We saw him run at the back of the 16 car earlier. And this is just a really big incident that takes out the 3rd place car. I mean, he's 15 laps down when this happens. I don't want to say he can't be on the racetrack. He certainly can be on the racetrack, but you need to be a little more careful. Not at 100%, certainly down at 80% maybe. Just make laps, because this, you can't be taking out third place. I mean, that's not fair to Sean Hughes' race. Sean has run the entire race at this point, 100 laps towards the front, and it's, I mean, come on. Well, Jordan White has stayed out. I don't know if that's going to be his final decision. I think he's going to come in. I don't think I'd want to stay out on 47-lap-old tires, but he was a full lap down nearly still behind the leaders, so he might not have had the opportunity to come in with them, and so he will now hit the pit lane with the lap-down cars of Justin Young and Zach King. The leaders, though, get back on the racetrack. Matthew McMeekin, Billy Jordan, Michael Alley were top three. They each took tires.
And ironically, with how many cars are just dropping out of this race, there is the possibility that these guys who are sitting 30 laps down, 18 laps down, they go out there and get themselves a top 10. I mean, Kevin Bullock is out of the race, so he's going to lose position. You've got Justin Young, who's just coming out of the pit lane. He's 17 laps down. Elijah in that 66, he's out. Chris Perry, he's pretty much out. He might be able to continue, but you got guys like Zach King, who are 31 laps down. He's still getting back out on the racetrack. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else who might still be out there. Not really, no. So it's nice to see these lap cars trying to stick in it, see if they can gain some positions. And like you said, Andrew, attrition. That's all you can say.
And as an outsider, Zach, watching all of this happen today, it just seems like everybody's kind of white knuckle as hard as they can out front, or whatever position they're in throughout the field, going 100%. And I think this racetrack kind of demands a more conservative approach, 80% or so, until you need to be in out. There goes Billy Jordan. Caution and more.
Oh,
Michael Alley
another one
around.
after the fact.
There again, you guys just need to be easy on the gas. Not 100%. Roll into it slow. I mean, this is not the first restart where guys have had trouble. I mean, you just need to kind of adjust what you're doing. Easier into the throttle. There are big bumps that will get you loose. 14 just straight around. I mean, immediately. The 22 then in response to it. Opplinger gets a piece. Big miss by Zach King.
I think King probably could have stayed low there, rolled down on the inside wall. See a couple cars rolling top.
This will be Zach King's perspective back in the field. This gets really close right here. Watch out.
That's close.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to drill these guys too hard. And there is a very valid comment out in the YouTube chat that these guys are newer to iRacing. That's why I want to offer the the moments of coaching through this. And Zach, you even have your coaching operation over at Murders Esports. I mean, what would you tell these guys in this instance where it's been a kind of repetitive issue coming to the green flag, but while certainly I think it is tricky to restart, there are a lot of guys who are getting it right. So for those that maybe are still having some trouble, what would you say?
Be easier on the throttle. It's a very common issue at tracks like Dover. It's a low gear restart, so usually in first or second gear. The RPMs are really high, so it's really easy to spin these tires, so it's just being easier on the throttle. A lot of guys tend to get into the notion of slamming the throttle pedal a little bit harder on these restarts just to get that good jump. A lot of times there is tricks you can do to help mitigate that by dragging the brake on the restart, which is laying more into the throttle, dragging the brake, and then gets the RPMs higher, helps with the launch. You do experience wheel spin as well, but you just have to be easy. It's a big thing. And I mean, we've got a couple of Murder C Sports development drivers in this field today. So I would use this as a lesson to them and a lesson to others to just be mindful and just take notes from these restarts.
You got to roll into the gas. I know that's a big thing. You can't stab it here at Dover on the restart. You got to roll into it nice and easy. And you might not even be full throttle until you're past the start-finish line. That's just the nature of the beast here. Miles the Monster will reach out and grab you. It is, of course, the Monster Mile. Just gotta be easy. As there goes Adam Ramsey. He's going to just stay not on the lead lap, but one lap down. And catch back up. By the way, only 6 cars now on the lead lap. Ramsey will line up 8th. Somewhere towards the rear of the field. Casey Gross, the first car, 1 lap down. A big thank you to our partners here at the channel. Whiplash SimCams, MXWraps.com, ATVO, Murder C Sports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. We're about to go back green flag racing. We are past halfway. And we will shortly be racing towards the latter stages of this 200 lap event at Dover Motor Speedway. Here we go. Out of turn number 4, Matthew McMeekin, Michael Alley, the front row, Justin Lanier in 3rd. And green flag is out. Let's try it again. A much better restart from everybody that time around. One lap complete. McMeekin, Alley, Romano, your top 3. Lanier and White complete the top 5. Here's the view from White.
Works himself back up inside the top 5. Big run down into turn number 3. It's a little stacked with Lanier in front, but he's going to get it right back off of turn number 4. Closing in. Trying to see if he can work his way through again past these leaders, but this time he's on the lead lap. So any pass he makes now is going to be for that position. Lanier down to the bottom. White up top. Rolls into turn number 3. It's going to be tight. Gonna be tight.
Oh, watch out, watch out! In the wall. That's okay. There goes the 20.
There.
Big hit for Justin Young. And he's going to be heading to the pit lane. That's not good.
Race done right there.
That's a really big hit for that Chevrolet. Jordan White,
Young
though.
with the meatball flag.
Jordan gets through to 4th. Here he goes for 3rd. Michael Alley slow off turn 4. And pass made. Jordan White to the inside will take that spot away. Now 3rd place for the rookie out of Jamaica. Gets the wall there off of turn 2. That's okay. Keep on digging. And hey, Zach King's back on the racetrack. He is a number of laps down. 31 to be exact. And he's just crashed with Justin Lanier on the front stretch.
Oh! And more cars piling in late to the incident.
Oh my goodness. Well, I know King's not going to be happy.
I don't think he will be. Rear end's pushed in on that race car.
With the run off the corner for these two. That's entirely on Zach right there. He gets into the left rear of Justin Lanier, and Lanier's the car ahead, and King is 31 down. But then here, man, wow.
Gotta be more aware. That was egregious right there from Chad Fox.
Yeah, Lanier was just kind of crossing over the line back up to the top of the racetrack, and Zach wasn't expecting him to check up, but then, oh man. I mean, Zach may have got into Justin, but he didn't deserve that as retribution, right?
I don't think so.
That was really, really big. This is Chad Fox's point of view.
So they're wrecking up in front. The smoke is visible. I mean, he checks up and spins into the wall. But I would have just rolled out of the throttle, gone low.
Let's take a look at the flag stand. The crash is happening there. There's caution. So if we jump on board the 12 car, he's right under the flag stand. And technically, I mean, at the time of caution, Zach, he does get off the gas. But one thing I've heard a lot from driver coaches is to look beyond your hood pins. And so even before he gets to the start-finish line, there's smoke. He needs to be out of the gas way beforehand, and he was still picking up revs. And if he had not stayed in the gas, he definitely could have missed that.
I think
so, I mean,
what you should be saying here is watch beyond the caution lights. That would be the best way to describe this right now.
Sure. You gotta look down the racetrack and, you know, observe what's going on. Your eyes gotta be moving around and taking in as much information as possible. I think that's one case as well, Zach, where I think iRacers get spoiled sometimes with the other programs and such, and other monitors and other things in your house even to look at. But in a real car, you've got to be moving your eyes around, looking down the racetrack, looking at turn one in that case, if you're Fox on the front stretch, and able to observe that there's smoke and a crash ahead to make sure to lift off the gas and not become a part of the crash. It's a must at that level. You can't be on other monitors and things like that. And I think certainly this is one racetrack that's going to demand that from you. If you're looking around other things, you are going to find yourself in incidents like that. So regardless, we have got ourselves reset with about 84 to go once we go back green. McMeekin has led so much of this race, and he's going to continue leading, it looks like. It'll be McMeekin, Romano, Alley, White, and Lanier, your top five. Austin Adams lined up next to Lanier. Casey Gross back on the lead lap. Adam Ramsey, the first car, one lap down, as we are down to what seems to be 10 cars running. Green flag here. We're racing once again at Dover. Jordan White going to cross up under the 44 car. Romano go for the race lead. And that is a pass completed by Jordan White.
Into the second spot for Jordan White. He keeps on rolling, keeps on trucking, and moving himself closer and closer to this race lead. He passed him once already to get his lap back. He's going to have to pass him again to take that lead away. But here comes the Jourdain train.
Now, under that caution, a lot of guys did stay out. All the lead lap cars stayed out as White rips off the fastest lap of the race, chasing down Matthew McMeekin, the race leader. But all these guys stayed out on the same tires and fuel they already had from the previous run. So nobody's got fresh tires, as the 44 took a run there. And White's, while the Jourdain train seems to have run out of steam there for a brief moment.
He'll get it back. He seems to be the most consistent over the run so far through this race. He's been doing very, very well, actually, when it comes to consistency. I had a talk with him last night about different tactics and things to try when it comes to driving the race car and just being able to handle these things. And he's done a really good job with learning and just taking the information in. I mean, definitely seen a lot of improvement out of him in the last few races that I've watched out of his.
Now he's encountering that dirty air, and I mentioned earlier the new short track package that NASCAR has for the Gen 7 cars has removed that rear diffuser, has cut the rear downforce, up the horsepower. That's going to make it harder to handle. I agree. It's going to make it harder to handle than when traffic, and it takes that kind of run, like Jourdain just got, to dive down to the inside of turn 3 and try to upset this 4 car to get this position away. Race for the lead off of turn number 4, and Jourdain White has got it. After being a lap down and crashed earlier on, he is up in position number 1. McMeekin now falls to 3rd as Chris Romano goes by. I think these 3 plus Zach King definitely were the cream of the crop here today.
Absolutely. And, you know, kind of factoring in what you talked about earlier with these cars not necessarily being ready for the setup yet, I mean, looking at it realistically, I think they're still okay and in a good spot. The rear diffuser going away, I think is a great idea, because a lot of the things that real-life NASCAR drivers were complaining about was they couldn't extract the downforce necessary from the diffuser to get that ground effect type downforce on the rear end, because they had to run the pressures so low in these tires that they were blowing tires out constantly. So we saw so many tire problems in the first few races, the first year realistically for that next gen race car. And now I think we're into a spot where these setups can be run totally differently based on the diffuser being gone. We just don't have that yet right now.
We are getting into the later stages here at Dover Motor Speedway, and if you're just joining us, it has been a rough morning for sure for the drivers here at Dover. It has been a morning of attrition, certainly, and I think everybody rubbing the sleeps out of their eyes, if you will, Zach. But let's take a look at the schedule, and I think we can be honest about the fact that this has been a rough race, that this has been a challenging race for these guys, and I think some have met their match a little bit. We have some newer drivers in the field, and I think they're still learning as they approach a racetrack as challenging as Dover. Now, Dover and Phoenix are very challenging racetracks here at races 3 and 4. They had kind of easier weeks at Daytona and Atlanta to get the season started, but I think when we hit Las Vegas in March, they'll be able to relax a little bit. Now, it's going to be right back to harder racetracks at Darlington, Martinsville, and Bristol, but then things might get a little bit easier on them at Kansas, Talladega, and Texas. And I think when we hit those intermediates, when these guys are able to get into a stride and just learn the car a bit more, I think we might have turned a corner at that point in time. Just guys getting more seat time and getting more used to this race car as opposed to going straight into Dover like this. It is very early in the season, honestly, to hit Dover Motor Speedway. A challenge that I was looking forward to, but man, certainly these guys, I don't know if they quite estimated just how difficult this racetrack can be. I've been there. I recall my early days on iRacing with an old Xbox belt-driven wheel. It was not a pretty sight. I recall David Levine, a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series driver at the time, and Arca Menard Series driver. He was kind of my teammate and coach, and he was very hard on me for a good reason, because I needed help. And yeah, I think these guys, maybe they can hit up Mercy Sports, get some coaching on the car. It is a challenging car, challenging track. I don't fault them at all for that. Everybody's human and gonna make mistakes, but I think mistakes are okay, Zach, as long as you're able to learn from them, and I just hope everybody kind of learns from this and just takes it easier on restarts. I have no doubt that when we come back here in the summer, it will be better.
I think you're right. I think these guys will learn a little bit more, take some notes from this race, and hopefully try to be a little bit better than they were today. Not saying they're not good in their own right. I think we've seen some great showing so far today.
To put it simple, I think everybody starts somewhere.
For the notepad.
I think everybody starts somewhere.
That's the best way to say it. A lot of notes for the notepad, we'll call it.
Oh, for sure. And it's still going to be a good race, I think. It is looking, obviously, a lighter car count at this point. About 13 cars running, 14 actually, as Chris Perry is back on the racetrack. But it's certainly more spread out towards the front, as there goes Jordan White past, I believe, the 16 of Doug Scalise, maybe? Yes. And Doug is back in 9th, 8 laps down now. He's had a rough go here today. Just give these guys some time. I think some more time in the car is going to help everybody out. And again, I think by the time we come back here in the summer, we will see probably twice as many cars at this point in the race still in it to try and go for the win. But Jordan White leading by about 1.2, 1.3 seconds roughly over Chris Romano. There is Romano on your screen in the black and green 44. McMeekin has suddenly kind of fallen off. He is now 3 seconds behind Jordan White, and Romano actually starting to make some ground up.
I've actually been noticing McMeekin hadn't seemed super strong on the long run. We saw it earlier on. Jordan White was able to work himself by. McMeekin lost a couple of spots, but I think his long run pace is definitely starting to show itself a little bit more. We're getting into that stage of where you need to have that long run pace. The tires are wearing out. And we're even getting to a point where the next pit stop is going to put us in the fuel window. In about 12 laps here, we will see that fuel window open up about 50 laps to the end, 55 realistically speaking. But we're getting closer and closer to putting fresh tires on these cars, maybe seeing some of that pace returning for these guys that struggle on that long run pace. But it's one of these types of tracks where you have to manage the tires. That right front takes a pounding on this banking, especially on corner exit. So it's a big trick that a lot of guys use here on iRacing to manage the tires and manage what they're doing. Is just keep a tab on that right front tire and understand what's going on with it, so that way you don't burn it off as quickly.
Romano is catching the 83 of White late in this run. Mentioned tire degradation on the right front specifically. I wonder if maybe that is a symptom there of the 83 currently, as he's starting to back up slowly to this 44 car. McMeekin has backed well out of it, and we're told he's saving tires, but got to still be with the field if you want to be able to use those tires later in the race. We'll see how the strategy works out for McMeekin. Gross in 4th, Alley in 5th. They have fallen 8, actually 9 and 11 seconds back, respectively. So they aren't really in the battle right now, but that's not to say they can't get into the battle as this race goes on, as the gap now about 6 to 7 tenths between the 83 and 44.
I'm sorry, the gap is what now?
No, Zach, we're not doing that. Not on a bright and early Sunday morning. I do want to take a look briefly at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV before we get into the final stages of this race. And here you go, Zach, from a tricky track today. Boy, we are headed to another one tomorrow. The NORA Retro Cup Series takes the 2003 NASCAR Cup cars to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's why we have Atlanta there, not Echo Park. So while the Cup Series is at Echo Park Speedway today in Hampton, Georgia, the NORA Retro Cup Series is at Atlanta Motor Speedway tomorrow in Hampton, Georgia. That's going to be a lot of fun. That is a match made in heaven. And then Tuesday, we have the BRB Sundance Pro Series headed to Phoenix Raceway. New point leader, I believe, Stephen Borbell on top of the series once again, I think. I'd have to look back at the graphic,
you're
actually.
Right. Stephen Borbell, Zach Hall, and then Brendan Maddox, your top 3.
So that's certainly worth tuning into. Single-digit gaps with 2 races to go in the championship. That's the way you want it. And then Thursday, we go back road racing with the North American Racing League taking their GT3 machinery to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We did have the Mexico City Oval on Pit Stop TV last fall with the Serra Super Series, but that was the oval, not the road course. We have not yet gone road racing in Mexico, and I'm excited to do so this Thursday evening. As the leaders continue on, White has gotten himself a gap back to Romano, about 1.2 seconds. And of course, you can catch all of those broadcasts and more across all social media platforms. Obviously, if you're hearing this and seeing this, you found us in some facets. We certainly invite you to follow along and share our social media links with your friends. They can become our friends, absolutely, but with your friends, and get everybody involved here in what Pits.tv has to offer. If you still want to get into this series, there are ways to do so. If you want to message us on social media, we can get you in contact with the right parties. The same goes for any of our leagues, I believe, except for the BRB Sundance Pro Series. They are in end-of-season form, and they are not accepting new entries. And then the North American Racing League Pro Series, I believe, is locked down, but you can still enter the AM Series that alternates with the pros. 52 laps to go, that time by the flag stand, Zach, and the gap is now over 2 seconds for Jordan White as we approach the fuel window. I wonder, do you think the 83 should go ahead and pit a little bit earlier, get those tires, get the fuel, and set sail?
No, absolutely not.
Really?
I think it'd be a good idea to just run it out. I see no point in pitting early when there is still the potential that there could be cautions and whatnot. I'd rather have the tires underneath me as we get to the later portion of the race. So stick to your strategy, run your run out, pit when you know you need to, and that fuel number is getting within, I want to say, at least 5 laps. I don't want to see any of these leaders on pit road before lap 155.
There you go, 50 laps to go that time by, as one is in the pit lane. That is Chad Fox in the number 12. He has hit the pits. He has 18 laps down, but man, the positions that he's been able to gain just by getting back on the racetrack and running some laps have been tremendous, and he will get back going now. After a few seconds of some damage repair, he is going to get back out there in 11th spot, Zach. I mean, that is incredible to be 18, 19 laps down in 11th. That is rare.
There are quite a few cars back out on the racetrack, actually. Oh, hearing call-outs at the moment. Romano's going to the pit road, 27 to the pit lane. And here's Zach King. He's out on the racetrack. He is currently over 50 laps down.
58 to be exact, but he's on the same lap now as Justin Young in a position to head, so he'll grab 18th this lap. 4 more laps to Cameron Combs, 5 more laps to Sean Hughes, and about 9 more laps up to Billy Jordan. Leaders in the pit lane, Chris Romano hits the pits. And he will bring in the 27 of Austin Adams, who misses the box, maybe? Maybe not. Justin Lanier as well will come in for service.
Big damage. That was from earlier when he had some issues with Zach King. Chad Fox back on the pit lane. I wonder if maybe he got a black flag.
Let's see, Romano, of course,
yes, he does have a black flag.
Let's see how quickly Romano can get back out there. 14.8 seconds. That's a decently quick stop, Zach. That's on par with where he needs it to be.
It's a really good stop right there as you see Jordan White. Looks like he's going to take it to the pit lane. That's a really slow entry. He's going to give up a lot of time here.
Yeah, this is going to be huge for Jordan. He just gave up a ton of time. Lock it up on entry.
He slid it.
Alley's ahead of him. He needs to go by the 22. Just pass him. Well, it's tricky. And now Alley's going to cross over and get into his box. So Jordan White will take the slow trek down this long pit lane at Dover Motor Speedway. One car slow. That's Casey Gross back there. He may have missed the pit, Zach. Let's see here. 77 car. Let's ride on board. Ducks underneath the 27 here. I think he's trying to hit the pits, and he completely missed it.
That was really close, though. To be perfectly honest, I'd consider that a nomination for Murders Esports Murders Mega Miss. That
Here's
was
Jordan
really,
White.
really close.
Getting back on the racetrack. Chris Romano trying to close in. You know what? There's something to be said maybe for being safe on entry and exit. He's going to exit still ahead of Chris Romano, who pulls up behind him just within a second. And oh, somebody, Matt Opplinger, where is he going?
I'm not sure.
That is pit entry. He is stationed like a safety truck. I'm not sure he knows where he is.
The wheel is locked. He's in reverse. I'm very confused at the moment.
Here's Opplinger in the 82. Was about 10th position. He's going to lose some spots now, I think, as Chad Fox is about 7 laps behind him. This is trying to hit the pit lane. Up onto the banking.
That was close.
And then, oh my goodness, the attenuator. And he had no engine after that. We have had a car hit the pit attenuator here today.
Oh my goodness. Opplinger is a considerable amount of laps down now. Michael Alley has actually gone a few laps down as well. He got a pit lane speeding penalty.
And that's that for Opplinger. Man.
McMeekin to the pit lane.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he has finally pitted. He stayed out a little bit longer than everybody else. I just feel like he's going to have given up too much time here. I don't know that he'll be able to run them back down with only 5 lap better tires.
Jordan White has worked himself onto the front stretch here, passed up the leader, back onto the lead lap. You've got right behind him Romano, just about over a second behind. That's the time that Jordan gave up. He was 4 seconds clear. Now he's over a second clear of the car behind him. This is McMeekin trying to get out of the box. Jordan White crossing the start-finish line now.
There they go. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of time lost by McMeekin. Leader's already 5 seconds ahead as he leaves the pit lane, and he's still going to get up through the gears. It's now 10 seconds. It's now 11 seconds.
Just keeps on growing.
I don't think McMeekin can run them back down with just a 6 or 7 lap advantage on tires. Zach, don't do it.
Huh? It's stuck in my head at this point. I hate it, but it's stuck in my head at this point.
The lead now for White up to 2 seconds as he approaches Zach King, who's a lap down. Actually, many laps down, 56. But he has been able to pass Billy Jordan, Sean Hughes, and Cameron Combs. So King is now in 15th spot. The next car ahead would be Chris Perry, some 18 laps ahead of car 51. And Opplinger is still in the pit lane, of course. That's going to be a position to gain for those guys, as there's just enough time. If Zach King stays in this race, Zach, he can just have enough time to run down Opplinger and pass the 82 car for another spot, but it's going to be really, really close.
It's going to be very close. We've got 35 laps to go. It's about 35 laps behind that 82 car, so can't afford to lose any more laps.
Basically,
in
King
fact,
is
he
rooting
should
for
get a lap
overtime.
back or two. Pretty much, actually.
Yeah, King is rooting for overtime right now to get a position or two extra. Here's Adam Ramsey. He has just made that pass on Austin Adams, so now he will try to track down Casey Gross some 15 seconds ahead. By the way, I said earlier that we had 3 Meatball Motorsports cars, those being the 4, 51, and 92. It turns out we have a 4th. That is Adam Ramsey racing for Meatball Motorsports, it seems. It seems on the graphic here it says Team Ignition. I think that was the registration as of Daytona. I believe that has changed per what Zach King put in the YouTube chat earlier. Might still need to confirm that, but hey, if Ramsey can get into the top 3, maybe we can ask him himself.
Well, top 3 are the only ones on the lead lap at the moment. That's just going to show how long this run's been going on for.
Well, that, and we said earlier, the cream of the crop were the top 3 plus Zach King.
Very true.
A 2.6 second gap right now for Jordan White. Make it 2.8. They're into the corner. Really no pressure at all right now. He can just run his race, save his stuff. He's been in the pit lane a handful of times. I wonder, Zach, if he's even got a set of tires laying. And then that could be the reality for a lot of these guys left in this race. Do they have one more set of tires? I think they might, but it's certainly going to be an if.
full well possible they've got a set of tires still remaining. I think quite a few of these guys still have a set of tires remaining. I think Jordan White has a tire set still left. I think Romano still has a tire set left. There's open and ample time to make it happen. I will say, McMeekin has closed the gap a little bit as this run has gone on. He's worked down a couple of tenths on Jordan White, and I think with White catching traffic here too, it will play into that 4 car trying to work down that gap. He does have fresher tires at the moment. He just needs to manage them is all. He just needs to manage how he uses them. And there is a strong possibility he could close that gap. Gap now under 10 seconds.
Well, look at it this way as well, Zach. McMeekin has 10 lap better tires than Romano. I said it wouldn't be a big deal, the 6 lap advantage that he has to White. But I think when you consider 9 or 10 laps between himself and Romano, that's a little more noticeable on the racetrack. And I think McMeekin has the ability within himself and possibly within the tires to run the 44 car down. I don't know, though, that he gets to the 83, because he'll not only have to get to the 44, but also pass the 44 and then still run down the 83. And I think that's where the order gets a little bit taller for driver 4.
What is it we've said before? Catching is one thing, passing is another.
Absolutely. Well,
here, and Zach King is going to be heading down to the pit lane as well, so he's going to end up losing a couple more laps here to catch Opplinger.
Needs 27 more laps. We might just be shy of that. We'll see. It'll be close, certainly, for Zach King, but he's got to stay in it to find out. As we have about 14 cars remaining here at Dover Motor Speedway, Zach, I think it's about high time to go ahead and decide on our Driver of the Day nominations. If you're new to Pit Stop TV, each broadcast, thanks to the North American Racing League, we have a vote in YouTube chat where myself and whoever's next to me, in this case Zach Murtis, will nominate 2 drivers for a Driver of the Day vote. So it's basically our free range pick, and Zach, you know the drill. Who you got?
Oh yeah, Jordan White. I'm going to start off strong. Jordan has been insanely good so far. He's done a phenomenal job with keeping that car out and working himself back up from a lap down earlier on after a restart wreck. So I think he's a solid pick for first pick for Driver of the Day. I think my second pick is probably going to have to go to, I want to say the 27 of Adams, just based on the fact that he's up 24 spots. He's a lap down or 2, but he stayed in it for the most part, kept himself out of trouble, and he's still working inside that top 10. I think he's a solid pick for Driver of the Day as well.
Well, that gives me an easy layup, I feel like, between second and third. Chris Romano, absolutely going to be on this list. 22 laps led. I think that's an easy case to make, and it'll be an even easier case to make. While Romano started 5th, has run in the lead a handful of laps, currently 2nd, has not left the top 10. McMeekin has not left the top 7, and has led 97 laps here today. So I think that's an even easier case to make for Matthew McMeekin as a Driver of the Day contender. And that will complete our rundown of Driver of the Day. That might be the easiest top 4 we've ever nominated for Driver of the Day.
I think so.
Certainly one of the easier rounds of nominations. I think there's been a clear handful of favorites here today as far as speed on the racetrack, and I think White is the leader of those. I think McMeekin very closely behind, Romano maybe just behind the 2 of them. And again, I think if Zach King just hadn't gotten involved in that crash earlier, I think he could absolutely be here with these guys. I think we could have a really good 4-car race between them. And, there's a handful of guys who are maybe just a little bit off of them. I think Casey Gross, Adam Ramsey, Austin Adams, Justin Lanier, on a good day, can absolutely be right there with those guys as well. So I think we do have a beginning of an emerging set of favorites here in the series. And I think the top 3, certainly on the racetrack currently, are among them.
Absolutely. Jordan White continues to set the pace, and we've got less than 20 laps to go, 18 at the line. He's just making it look easy right now, hanging tough in front. The gap is closed, I'll say. It's 2.4 seconds, 2.5 back to Romano. He's closed about half a second on that 83 car. I think as the run goes on, you'll see Jourdain start to trek a little bit further out in front. He's just done a really good job of hanging onto these tires as we roll up on more lap cars. That is the 34 of Perry, if I'm not mistaken.
And so, yes, White will go by the 34 car there of Chris Perry. Chris just hanging on to the race car there on the front stretch. 16 laps to go for Jourdain White. This could be a big day for him. We have seen him now run just about a full season-long rookie campaign in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. That's in ARCA cars on Tuesday nights, and certainly I think it's fair to say the ARCA car is easier to drive than the next-gen Cup car. So, we've seen now a good while of Jourdain developing down there over there, I should say, in the BRB Sundance Pro Series. I think a great crop of drivers over there, but an easier race car, which leads to stiffer competition, certainly. And Jourdain has had great runs, has not yet broken through for a victory. A few top fives, I think, to his name, and certainly has been a successful rookie campaign, considering he's in the chase this season, but still winless. Last night, I know he ran a league that you were in, Zach, along with some drivers that we see over on Tuesdays. And I know you maybe didn't have the greatest of nights, but I know that Jourdain went to victory lane there in the ARCA car at Bristol. And now,
at my own expense.
Fast forward to this morning, and the young Jamaican is now 13 laps away from potentially winning here in his very first start in the All-American Racing Network Next Gen Cup Series here on Sunday mornings.
He's definitely done a fine job of hanging on to the race car, and that gap's starting to build even more. One car heading to the pit lane, that's Austin Adams in the 27.
Oh man, did you jinx him?
I hope I didn't. He's got some pretty big damage on that right front. I don't know if that's because of smacking the wall or something along those lines, but not seeing a pit for a repair flag or anything along those lines. He is still okay.
He's only been on the racetrack for about 33 laps, so I think this is an incident of some sort leading him to pit. This is him trying to hit the pits. Not really sure what's going on for him. He locked up there for a brief moment. Here he is a few moments prior. I'm really not sure what's going on for the 27 car.
Might just be needs to pit. An unscheduled stop.
And he is actually leading, well, he is tied to the lead of the driver of the day vote. Tied with Romano and McMeekin. No votes yet for Jourdain White, I'm surprised.
What can you do?
Well, in Jourdain's case, he can win this race potentially in 8 more laps. He's got a 3-second gap to Romano, and McMeekin, by the way, has started to lose time. He is now 13 seconds behind the race leaders. So, I think maybe he was saving tires in that previous run, Zach, but I think it was just too much to overcome. He put himself a little too far behind the 8 ball, and now I think he's just kind of riding around. 13 seconds behind the race leader, and 10 now behind Romano in second. We'll be talking to the top 3 here in just a few short moments.
Jourdain continues to lead, though. 7 laps to go. We've got 3 cars on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is Gross to the 77. Then it's 2 down, 3 down, 3 down, 5 down, 10 down, 24 down. Oh my goodness.
By the way, Zach King spent a little while in the pit lane again. He will likely, he's not going to run down the 82 of Opplinger without another caution here and an extension of laps. So King pretty much tied into 15th unless we get a caution and some overtime laps here at Dover. This next time by, it'll be 5 laps to go at the Dover Motor Speedway. Thanks for joining us here this evening, or this morning here at Pit Stop TV. It was an oddball kind of day to get started. Technology not playing our favorites. Oh, we might have that caution. Mark Bender sideways. No caution yet. And we aren't going to get one, but that was very nearly Jourdain White up in smoke.
That was very, very close. This is rolling off at turn number 4.
He's got a ton of wheel cranked into that thing. Oh my gosh.
Sliding, spinning. I'm surprised that was not a caution.
Yeah.
Right in front of Jourdain White.
Look at how much wheel he has cranked into the car here. Wait for it. It was tight there off of 2. Oh my gosh. That is a ton of wheel.
That's more than 90 degrees. A lot of times they say when you've got that wheel cranked about 90 degrees or close to it, then the car is tight. But that was more than being tight. That's damage on that 34 car. And I think a nomination for Murda's Esports, Murda's Mega Miss definitely applies to Jourdain White, as he could have easily had his race ended there.
Caution.
And the caution is out!
Doug Scaleless, turn 1. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no.
As Jourdain White took 2 laps to go. Literally the exact moment.
Popsicle sticks.
Scaleless has been in the wall. Just lost control on the front stretch. Tried to lock it down and get down to the inside. Ended up that the right front tire was turned too far right, and oh boy.
How was... I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little heated for a second. How was that a caution, but the other one wasn't? And they're spinning on the back straightaway under the caution flag.
I'm a little confused here why Doug was aimed to the right. Mentioned they were spinning on the back straightaway. It seems like they have sorted things out, but a few moments ago, this was down the back stretch. Oh, it was
Right
Casey Gross.
Zach King. Looks like Austin Adams just ran right into the back of Zach King.
Gross was behind it, yeah, and you see things already happened. My poor Zach King, he's been hit a few times today.
Unfortunately.
It will be 4 tires, by the way, for our leaders. We'll catch up with them in just 1 second. Here's the moment for Zach King, and minding his own business. Yeah, just gets run over. McMeekin got a piece of that.
They too.
Wow. Adams ran straight into the 51 car, and McMeekin hit the 27. We have reset, though. New tires, cold tires, more importantly, Zach. Cold tires on the 83, the 44, and the 4. I wonder, you know, would it have been more beneficial just for the warm versus cold tires to have stayed out?
I don't know. You've been on these tires for 40 laps at this point. I think 40, 45 laps, really. I think it's beneficial to go down and take those tires. It's such a big thing here at Dover. I think everyone had opted to pit anyway. You've got Casey Gross back on the lead lap now. So,
well,
it should be interesting, I'll say. Jourdain White has taken the top line.
Well, it's overtime,
for
Zach.
This restart.
You know what that means? Our MXWraps.com overtime rules.
Oh, baby.
We talked about it earlier. This would be the only way that King would get by Opplinger. He is now 1 lap behind the 82, and with this restart, we'll be able to pass the 82 car. But overtime rules. 2 laps, a green lap and a white lap, then checkers to end it. If the green lap is completed, the race is official. If the green lap is not completed, we will restart again. We have 3 attempts there at it. After all attempts are used, a caution can end the race. There goes the iRacing.com safety car. We will leave these rules up on your screen for just a moment. as we roll out of turn number 4. Restart zone on the way. Mind your P's and Q's, everybody. Green flag. Jordan White gets rolling. One in the wall. Let's try to stay green here, guys.
The restart is clean. The restart is green. Well, maybe not so clean, but it's green. Jordan White hangs on down the back straightaway. Car in the wall behind. Are we going to make it back to the white flag? Jordan White hanging on, fighting for second. White flag is in the air. 1 to go, presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. We made it, gentlemen.
Romano trying to run White down. I think it's going to be too little too late in the sunset of Dover, Delaware. He's going to have one more try at things down into turn number 3, but Jordan White makes his very first start in the All-American Racing Network, and off of turn number 4, the Jamaican sensation has won at Dover Motor Speedway, and he slides, drifts, yes sir, all the way through turn 1. Romano ran the fastest lap of the race there at the end, but what a lap out of Jordan White, or what a race out of Jordan White rather, to hang on for the win.
Phenomenal job for the 83 of Jordan White. Notable thing to say is that Zach King ended up getting that P14 over Opplinger.
Yes, he did.
In it.
Yes, he did.
A lot of guys stayed in it, really. There's a lot of guys more than 10 laps down that stayed in this race that are still going to benefit with a decent finishing position tonight. But Jordan White's going to lead them all in a fun way to say it. I'll say it is the U.S. just won gold in the Olympics. Well, Jordan White, the Jamaican sensation, just beat every single U.S. driver in this race.
It'll be a burnout now for Jordan White. A couple of cars running some extra laps.
He is walking it down the front straightaway.
Gotta burn it down, Zach. Also a win then for Whiplash Racing here in the All-American Racing Network. And White will shut it down, and that will be that. For driver number 83, a job well done at the Dover Motor Speedway. We'll take a look back, of course, at your unofficial race results here in just a moment. Oh, he's got some more gas left in it. He's going to burn it down some more. That, I believe, will be it now for car 83. Let's take a look back, Zach, at the unofficial race results at Dover Motor Speedway. An interesting morning, one certainly filled with attrition here at Dover, but it's Jordan White first to the checkered flag. Second place goes today to the 44 car, Chris Romano. Fastest lap of the race there at the end, but it wasn't quite enough to get Jordan White. Matthew McMeekin will go third. Casey Gross fourth, and Adam Ramsey, the first car, 1 lap down in 5th position. Good to see Casey get back on the lead lap, but just needed a bit more to get back up there with the leaders. Justin Lanier 6th, Michael Alley, Austin Adams, Douglas Scalus, and Chad Fox, your top 10.
Going outside the top 10, Corey Powell ends up 25 laps down and finishes 11th spot right in front of Mark Bender, who was 29 laps down in that 33 car. Chris Perry 13th, and Zach King ends up 14th. Just ends up getting Matt Opplinger at the line for P14. P15 is, of course, Opplinger. Billy Jordan right behind in that 16th spot, and then it's Sean Hughes, Cameron Combs, Justin Young, and Kevin Bullock that round out your top 20.
And back to 21st spot, you will find Elijah Mopin in the 66, 119 laps down. And obviously all these guys had early issues on down through Lloyd Moore, Michael Rovillo, Gregory Vadnice, Chris Fainer in the 23, Kason Hodgson in the 5, making his first start, Robert Hissong in the 29. Down through, let's see, Mark Helsel, Christopher Foote, and Ricky Langton Jr., who I can confirm may have started the race, Zach, but did not make it much farther beyond that. Unfortunate, obviously, for Ricky. Hopefully he gets back on the racetrack at Phoenix next week and then Las Vegas the week after when we pick up our coverage once again. But we have got drivers to talk to. One of those, of course, being Jordan White. We'll bring him into the broadcast booth in just a moment. I think he I don't think he's used to a podium interview, so I don't think he knew to come down here, but we'll grab him here in just a moment. And Jourdain White, and here is driver number 83, the Jamaican sensation, first start in the All-American Racing Network. And Jourdain, you showed him what for 82 laps led, and you had to really battle back from that early setback.
Yeah, it was a great race, Andrew. That restart was very painful. I thought I was gonna spin the tires there and wreck the car, but I didn't. And also the whole lap down thing, that sucked because I was told pit road was open, but apparently that we didn't catch the pace car yet, so that forced me a lap down because everyone caught the pace car, and that just lost me time. So I wanted to gain it back under green, do it the old-fashioned way, so I wouldn't have to start from the exact rear again. That didn't even matter because I sped on pit road. But a few pit road mistakes, but still the race win is pretty cool.
And of course, we're used to seeing you in ARCA cars on Tuesday nights. You flip over to a next-gen Cup car here on a Sunday morning. And, what did you learn from this race, and what can you put in the pocketbook for next time when we come back to Dover later this season?
I mean, just diamond the corner, take it easy on the throttle. 3 and 4, you gotta get on the throttle really late, because a lot of things that the guys around me were doing, well, actually, I was pretty scared going into the race because I was getting really tight off 4. But then it was actually, I think the guy that finished second place, Chris Romano, I watched his line, and that when he was arcing it, I saw how good his exits were, so I started doing it, and it was working great for me from there on out.
Well, Jourdain White grabs himself a win here, 82 laps led, and obviously a long season to go. What tracks are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to all of them, especially Bristol. But yeah, also thank you to Whiplash Simcams, Pit Stop TV for streaming this amazing race, and thank you to Andrew, the team owner, for getting me in the race car this morning. And I mean, it's worked out great so far. 1 for 1, 1 pole, 1 win. So, yeah.
Jourdain grabs himself a race win here today. Good to talk to you, Jourdain. It's been a little while over on the Tuesday side, but good to talk to you here on a Sunday morning, and hopefully we're talking to you many more times here in 2026.
Yep. Thank you.
Jourdain White with a win here at Dover, Delaware. On to second place, Chris Romano. Zach, I know he didn't get the win he would have wanted today, but it was still a strong run for the 44 car. Here he is.
That it was, bringing it home in the second spot and turning the fastest lap at the end of the race there. You did one heck of a job to try and go up there and get it, but you just fell 1 spot short. What do you think you could have done differently in terms of strategy or overall raceability to get this win here today?
Oh yeah, it was a great race. Congrats to Jourdain on the win. I think where I messed up the most was I was just trying to save too much tire, taking it a little easy in there, and especially after that last pit stop, I had in my head he looked like he was just cooking, and if I just saved a little bit more, maybe I'd catch up to him at the end. Didn't. Luckily, that caution came out, and that was my probably best chance. Obviously, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. So.
Well, you still brought it home in the second spot, especially with a race filled with drivers not being able to finish on the lead lap. Do you think maybe you could have tried pitting later, pitting sooner, trying to shortcut them in any way, shape, or form, or maybe just taking that restart and trying to drive it in a little bit harder, even though you did set the fastest lap at the end of the race?
Yeah, I did try to undercut him. Once we hit 50 laps to go, I had in my head I was going to pit and trying to gain some time there. I came out of the pits right behind him, but he just pulled away, and I saw him. He was pushing it hard, so I was like, okay, I'll just try to save some tire here. Yeah, that restart, he got a good jump on me, and I think restart's probably where I need the most work, so probably going to work on that a little bit, and hopefully next time in that situation, I have a better shot.
Well, you still did one heck of a job to get it done here today. Second place is nothing to be ashamed of. Congratulations on your P2 finish. Hopefully we'll be talking to you again going into next week, or going into Phoenix, that is.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys putting on the broadcast, and looking forward to Phoenix and the rest of the season. It's going to look be a fun schedule, so looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Your second place finisher, Chris Romano. Andrew, I'm sure you're eager and waiting to talk to our third place finisher on the day as well.
That I am. Matthew Meekin grabs himself a third place finish. We can bring in the driver of the 4 car. I do like that number, Matthew. A good one for sure. It's been a long time since we've talked to you here at Pit Stop TV, but third place today, obviously a bunch of laps led, and you wanted to get those couple of spots ahead. What could you have done differently today to get those spots?
Well, I think I got behind on strategy after halfway, and the guys behind me took tires. I stayed out with 10 or 15 laps on mine, and you saw the result. I couldn't keep up with them after halfway. So, but successful day, stayed out of trouble, got a podium, didn't wreck anybody, no one wrecked me, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, I got home mostly clean. A little bit of damage there on the front after that last caution incident. But, I mean, 98 laps led. I know this is a very difficult racetrack for this very difficult race car, but with some other intermediates coming up on the schedule, do you think you can repeat this kind of run and stay up towards the front like this?
I'm totally looking forward to it, yeah. I've been doing this for a hot minute, so looking forward to the next few weeks in the schedule.
Matthew McMeekin, 98 laps led today. Are you excited to come back here in the summer and try to repeat and go for a couple spots higher?
Well, absolutely. I like Dover. Like the next track coming up, Phoenix, Las Vegas. I like them all, so I'm excited.
Fair enough. Matthew McMeekin, a big day here at Dover Motor Speedway. Congratulations, Matt. Good to talk to you again, and hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
Thank you guys for all you do. Appreciate it.
Matthew McMeekin with a fantastic paint scheme on that number 4. Grabs himself a podium finish here today, and that'll do it for us this morning. Well, it's seconds from noon here, Zach, on the Eastern Seaboard. Boy, what a day. We still got all of Sunday to go. The NASCAR Cup Series race at Echo Park Speedway here in a little while. We've still got everything going on. As you mentioned, the hockey game and the Olympics, there's still so much going on, and we have just begun. But today's show here at Dover Motor Speedway is just about over. Here's well, actually, hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself, Zach. We still have to give out driver of the day. Do you know who it is?
Jordan White.
Jordan White. The North American Racing League driver of the day today here at Dover Motor Speedway is Jordan White for Whiplash Racing in the Whiplash SimCams, number 83. That will do it for us this evening on the well, I did it again. This afternoon on the track at or is it just this noon? That doesn't sound right.
It's afternoon technically.
Just saying just this noon does not sound quite right. Regardless, thanks for joining us here today. Here's a look at what's upcoming for us. Of course, next up for the series, they go to Phoenix. That will be on an alternate channel. I don't know exactly who, actually, off the top of my head. But keep an eye on the All-American Racing Network Discord server for information on where the next broadcast will be. Again, I'm not entirely sure right off the top of my head. But Zach, I know that we are back with these guys at Las Vegas in 2 weeks on March the 8th. In the meantime, here's what we have here on the channel: Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NORA Retro Cup Series tomorrow evening, 8:15 Eastern, and then Tuesday evening, 8:30 Eastern, we'll have the Phoenix Raceway for the BRB Sundance Pro Series before we go back road racing down in Mexico City with the North American Racing League for the pro drivers this Thursday evening. And no Sarah race this Thursday night. We're back to single shows on Thursdays. Gonna make things a little less chaotic there on Thursday evenings. I'm excited for that, but a lot of great racing's that coming up.
Plenty of places to follow along: pitstoptv.com, facebook.com/pitstoptv, instagram.com/pit_stop_tv, tiktok.com/pitstoptv1, twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, youtube.com/pitstoptv1, and x.com/pitstoptv_. So many great races, so many places to follow along. I'm excited. I know you're excited. We're going to have some great races coming up.
That will do it for us from Dover, Delaware here today. Thanks for joining us once again. A big thank you, of course, to Happy Pet HQ. The way this race went today, we didn't really get a great chance to settle in and talk about our sponsors, but I do want to specifically focus here on Happy Pet for just a moment. Admittedly, I don't know a ton about them. So we're going to read straight from the website. It's happypethq.com. You saw the phone number earlier. You can email them at cs@happypethq.com. Call them at 650-395-9506. Veteran and minority owned, based in sunny South Florida, and trusted by 10,000 pet parents and businesses across the U.S. Every product shipped out by Happy Pet HQ is backed by real people who care about animals as much as you do. I implore you to check out happypethq.com and see what they can do for you. Just looking through their website briefly. Wall-mounted pet doors. A lot of great products, actually. Kayla, I see you in the YouTube chat. Might be something for us to look into, as we've got a dog and cat of our own here at Pit Stop TV headquarters. But thanks for joining us this morning and now afternoon here at Pit Stop TV. A big thank you to our partners as well: Whiplash Simcams, MXWraps.com, ATVL, Murders Esports, CC's Business, and the North American Racing League. Admittedly, today was a little bit off the ball for us. A few things going wrong there in pre-race. We will be better by Las Vegas in a couple of weeks and have a more traditional show planned for everybody with a pre-race segment and everything. But for now, thanks for joining us here at Pit Stop TV. We'll see you all next time as the sun sets in virtual Dover, Delaware. Next time it's Las Vegas for the All-American Racing Network. But hopefully you join us tomorrow night for Atlanta Motor Speedway for the NORA Retro Cup Series. We'll see you then. Green flag back in the air. Brendan Maddox, Adam Buzzio, the whole field chomping at the bit. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. The Lucky Performance Overtime rules reminding you that if we get back around to the white flag, this race is official. Buzzio with a push from Dyer. Maddox with a push from Hughes. Zach, I think we're going to get there.
I think we will. Coming back around, Buzzio leads the group. Through the tri-oval we go. No caution. Sam Dyer looks to the outside. Through wide for the race lead. White flag is in the air, presented by Whiplash Simcams. Sam Dyer is all by himself on the top line, Andrew. There is nothing that he can do. He's going to start dropping back, and Brendan Maddox is out in front by himself. I do not want to have a gap that big.
We'll see how this one works out. Maddox moves up, now moves down. That checks up the bottom side. Here comes Buzzio. Here comes Camper. Here comes Plord, all on the top side of the racetrack. Maddox now going to try and fight back on the bottom with a push from Buzzio's teammate. That's Hughes down low, and Hughes isn't pushing the 8. Now he gets there from a push from Mason Houseman to the stripe. It's going to be a drag race. Adam Buzzio. Dakota Camper, he's going to look down to the inside, and Camper is going to shove alongside of the 5. Dakota Camper, maybe, no, Buzzio's got to win this season.
Oh my goodness, what a finish.